नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्य उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Please, if possible, come as forward as possible. Today, due to one special reason, we are expecting more crowd. Reading from Canto 1, titled The Creation, Chapter 3, titled Krishna is the source of all incarnations, verse number 6. स एव प्रथमं देवः कौमारं सर्गमाश्रितः चचार दुश्चरं ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम्. स एव प्रथमं देवः कौमारं सर्गमाश्रितः चचार दुश्चरं ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम्. स एव प्रथमं देवः कौमारं सर्गमाश्रितः चचार दुश्चरं ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम्. So 3 times we'll recite the verse, starting with Prabhuji's. स एव प्रथमं देवः कौमारं सर्गमाश्रितः चचार दुश्चरं ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम्. One more person. स एव प्रथमं देवः कौमारं सर्गमाश्रितः चचार दुश्चरं ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम्. माताजी. स एव प्रथमं देवः कौमारं सर्गमाश्रितः चचारं दुश्चरं ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम्. स एव प्रथमं देवः कौमारं सर्गमाश्रितः चचारं दुश्चरं ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मचर्यम् अखण्डितम्. We'll read word to word meanings. Saha, that, certainly, eva, certainly, prathamam, first, devaha, supreme lord, kaumaram, named the kumaras, unmarried, sargam, creation, ashritah, under, chachara, performed, dushcharam, very difficult to do, brahma, in the order of brahman, brahmacharyam, under discipline to realize the absolute brahman, akhanditam, unbroken. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. First of all, in the beginning of the creation, there were 4 unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. Purport. The creation of the material world is effected, maintained, and then again annihilated at certain intervals. So there are different names of the creations in terms of the particular types of Brahma, the father of the living beings in the creation. The Kumaras, as above mentioned, appeared in the Kaumara creation of the material world and to teach us the process of Brahman realization. They underwent severe type of disciplinary action as bachelors. These Kumaras are empowered incarnations, and before executing the severe type of disciplinary actions, all of them became qualified Brahmanas. This example suggests that one must first acquire the qualifications of a Brahmana, not simply by birth, but also by quality. And then one can undergo the process of Brahman realization. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranami Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. Yeah, this is needed. My HDMI port is not working.
So please connect from this window 10, right?
It's
Windows 10.
yeah.
This window 10.
Okay.
So connect option.
Connect to a wireless display. Okay. Next.
Yes, now
Is the TV connected to the Wi-Fi?
yes. So you need to be on the same Wi-Fi.
Yes, I am on the same Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Working?
Yes, connected.
Are you all able to see the screen? Good. So translation, please repeat with me. First of all, in the beginning of the creation, there were four unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. So this is a very, very nice verse, and there is so much to discuss in relation to this verse. So much to understand about the essence of Krishna consciousness. There is a very nice book called Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, TLC. In that, I think the 8th chapter is called as Avataras. Teachings of Lord Chaitanya is a discussion between Rupa Goswami and Lord Chaitanya on the Dashashwamedh Ghat, which went on for 10 days. And in the chapter Avataras, very nicely it is described who is Krishna, who are the plenary expansions of Krishna, who are the plenary expansions of the plenary expansions of Krishna, and like that. So I'll show you. We are talking about the four Kumaras here. I will show you a picture. Are you able to see? So this is a very detailed analysis. I will not get into full detail, but this chapter name is called Krishna is the source of all incarnations. And in this chapter, I think verse number 28 talks about how Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Ete cha amshaha kalaha pumsaha Krishnastu bhagavan esayam indrari vyakulam lokam mridyante yuge yuge. So how Krishna is the source of all incarnations, even all the Vishnu Tattvas. So this chart shows how he is Swayam Rupa, his original form as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, and then he has Swayam Prakash and Vaibhav Prakash. Swayam Prakash is those kind of manifestations where he is exactly similar to himself, like the manifestations in Dwarka and in the Ras Leela. However, those manifestations where Krishna's look is slightly different and mood is slightly different comes in the category of Vaibhav Prakash. And then Vaibhav Prakash comes in these two categories, Vilas and Swamshas. I will straight away go to the Shaktyavesh category. So these Swamshas, they come in the Shaktyavesh category. I mean, there are various kinds of Swamsha avatars, Leela avatars, Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Shaktyavesh, Manvantara and Yuga avatara. However, point to be noted, Shaktyavesh avatar is of two categories. One is Sakshat and one is Avesh. This is explained very nicely in Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Those who will read it, they will understand, appreciate it. Sakshat avatar, Sakshat Shaktyavesh avatar means Swamsha incarnations of Krishna in the category of Shaktyavesh. And Avesha means those Jiva Tattvas who have been given, they are not Vishnu Tattvas, they are not Swamshas, they are Vibhinnamshas, but they have been given some energy of Krishna to act in a very nice capacity. For example, you see, I will highlight the Shaktyavesh avatars. Four Kumaras, Narada, Brahma, Ananta, Shesha, Prithu, Parshuram, they are in the category of Shaktyavesh, specially empowered living entities who are representatives of the Lord. So in this Shaktyavesh, two categories are there, Sakshat. So for example, you see Ananta has Bhudharana Shakti, maintenance of the material worlds. So Ananta has millions and billions of hoods, and on each hood it holds one particular universe as a mustard seed. So this is called Bhudharana Shakti. Now Ananta is not a Jiva Tattva, it is Swamsha. It comes in the category of Vishnu Tattva. However, it is doing this specific function, and it has been empowered by the Lord to do this function. So this is Sakshat Shaktyavesh. Similarly, Shesha, Seva, Swasevana Shakti, personal service to the Lord, it becomes the bed of the Lord and other things. So these are Sakshat avatars, Sakshat Shaktyavesh avatars. But then there are some Aveshas who are not in the category of Vishnu Tattva, who are Jiva Tattvas, who have been given this specific potency to work in a particular capacity. For example, 4 Kumaras, they are Jiva Tattvas, they are not Vishnu Tattvas, they are Aveshas, and they have been given the Jnana Shakti of the Lord. So when they will teach knowledge, it will appear like Krishna is teaching. Similarly, Narada has been invested with Bhakti Shakti. So when Narada will start preaching, it will be like almost Krishna is preaching. Like that. However, point to be noted, what is the difference between the Lord and these Sakyaveshas? The Lord can exhibit all the potencies all at once. But these Shaktaveshas can exhibit only the particular potency which has been given. For example, Narada can only display Bhakti Shakti. Narada cannot display Jnana Shakti. Narada cannot display Bhudharana Shakti or anything. Similarly, Brahma, Shrishti Shakti. It has been given the power to create. He is also a Jiva Tattva. Prithu, Palana Shakti. Prithu Maharaj, 4th canto you will read. A very great personality, Jiva Tattva, living being, Jivatma, but he has the potency of administration. Original king, Adi Raja. So when Prithu Maharaj will rule the planet, it will be like Krishna is ruling. Same effect will be there. Similarly, Parshuram, Dusht Nashaka Virya. So Parshuram, we all know he killed all the Kshatriyas so many times, 21 times. So he has the potency to kill. When he will start moving with his axe in his hand, nobody can stop him. It is like Krishna's will. Everybody has to be killed. So today we are talking about 4 Kumaras who represent which kind of Shakti? Jnana Shakti. Now, less powerful than these Shaktiavesh avatars are the Vibhuti Shaktis of the Lord. They just represent Krishna. They are not having full potency of a particular, full potency in a particular capacity also. For example, Krishna says in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is highlighting Vibhutis, which are around 84 Vibhutis highlighted in the 10th chapter. And some of the Vibhutis are listed here. Among the demigods, I am Indra. Among the Vasus, I am Agni. Among the mountains, I am Meru. Among the priests, I am Brihaspati. Among the generals, I am Kartikeya. And among the sages, I am Bhrigu. Amongst the Pandavas, I am Arjuna, and things like that. So these Vibhutis, they remind everybody of the supreme dominance of Krishna. They are empowered by Krishna. However, they are not as powerful as Shaktiaveshas. There is a nice verse. 10.41 Yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimad urjitam eva va tad evav gachatvam mama tejo amsha sambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So this is an indication, this spark of the splendor Acharya's highlight is, Krishna is talking about this. Karanodakshaya Vishnu is a spark of the splendor of Krishna. Who is Karanodakshaya Vishnu? He is an expansion of an expansion of an expansion of an expansion of Krishna. So this is the spark of the splendor. With just one of his plenary expansions, he is able to maintain the whole creation. So that is Krishna. And in order to do certain activities, primarily people feel, those who have not read Bhagavatam, they feel that these Leela avatars are the only avatars. Matsya, Kurman, Ramachandra, Nrsimha, Vamana, etc. Varaha. But no, there are various categories. Leela avatars are there, Purusha avatars are there, Guna avatars are there, Shakti aveshas, Manya, Manvantara and Yuga avatara. And today we are talking about one of the Vibhinna Amshas, one of the Jiva Tattvas who are empowered by Krishna to perform a particular function, who are not Vishnu Tattva, but also coming in the category of Shakti Avesh Avatar. They are the 4 Kumaras. Is it clear? This categorization is clear? I can share this image. This is an image from one of the Back to Godhead magazines. I can share with all of you so that you can learn. But trust me, simply by reading this document or image, you will not understand until you read teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You have to hear from Mahaprabhu. This diagram is not a full summary of what Mahaprabhu said also. So in today's verse, in the beginning of the creation, we all know, Brahma is doing Srishti, Brahma is doing Visarga, secondary creation. Primary creation has already been done by whom? Yes. Garvodakshaya Vishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, both. But in our universe context, Garvodakshaya Vishnu. All the universes context, Karanodakshaya Vishnu. So they have done the primary creation. Now Brahma's job is to use these ingredients which are available and do secondary creation, create the 84 lakh species, help in getting the various planetary systems getting populated, etc., transmittance of the Vedas, etc. This is secondary creation. So the first people whom he creates are the four Kumaras. And we all know the story of the four Kumaras. They were ordered to get married, but they said that no, we don't want to get married. We want, the aim of human life is to go back home, back to Godhead. So we just want to focus on that. And then they decided to remain celibates, and they wanted to engage in understanding what is the supreme absolute truth without any deviation. And then as a result of that, Brahma became angry, and from his forehead Rudra took birth. So that's the story of the four Kumaras. Although they decided to remain 5-year-old children, their form is like a 5-year-old child, but they are the oldest sages and the oldest personalities, the first created, or after Brahma, the first created beings by Brahma. So if they walk in here, they may be not wearing clothes also, they will look like 5-year-old children, but they are everybody's boss actually. So that is these four Kumaras. Now, what I want to highlight here is something very important for our Krishna consciousness. Two things. They were situated in a vow of celibacy and underwent severe austerities for the realization of the absolute truth. So two things are very important to go back home, back to Godhead. Number one is celibacy, and number two is austerities. Those who do not have the tapodhan of brahmacharya and tapasya, they cannot achieve Krishna. Take it from this verse. So I will not speak much about celibacy because I know all of you are trying your best, but I would like to lay more stress on the austerities here. So today morning I was just having some discussions about Prithu Maharaj only. So I found some very nice verses which is so inspiring. So who is Prithu Maharaj? You see, according to this, he is one of the Shaktyavesh avatars, ruler of the world. We cannot imagine who he is. Imagine if Prithu Maharaj would have been here today in this world, we would have had no problems only. Even 5,000 years ago, there was just one king, Maharaj Parikshit, who was a Raj Rishi. And Raj Rishis, they work in a different fashion. Raj Rishis, they take the parampara system very seriously. About Raj Rishis, I think it is mentioned in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, I think verse number 1. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manur ikshvakave bravet. In the beginning, the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to sun god Vivasvan. Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. So in the second verse, they talk about Raj Rishis. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yoga nashtaha parantapa. So this is Raj Rishis, saintly kings. So whenever we have a saintly king, everything will fall in place. I remember one incident in Mahabharata when Duryodhana, after sending the Pandavas to 12 years of exile, and I think 13th year or 14th year, How many years of exile was he sent? 12 years? 13 years? Arey, 14 years Lord Ramchandra went. 12 years. 12 plus 1. So in this last 13th year of incognito, so Duryodhana was very desperately trying to search the Pandavas. And he was failing. Then Bhishma called him and he said, shame on you. Sahadeva is the most intelligent and most knowledge man in the world. You cannot find him. Nakula is the most beautiful man in the world. You cannot locate him. I mean, how can Bhima hide anywhere? And Arjuna, people, the whole world is following him. How can he hide anywhere? And Yudhishthir is like the sun. So Duryodhana said, my dear Bhishma, please tell me how to find Yudhishthira. So Bhishma said that Yudhishthira is a Raj Rishi. Wherever you just go and find a kingdom where people are having no mental anxieties, people are having no physical or mental or any kind of distress in their life. A place where the seasons are coming on time and going on time. A place where no corruption is there. A place where everybody is devoted to spiritual realization of the absolute truth, like we have read in today's verse. That is the place where Yudhishthir will be staying. So that is a Raj Rishi. So even 5,000 years ago we had Raj Rishis. And the whole world was very proud to be under their dominance. They were thinking, let's see, we are all materialistic idiots. But this Raj Rishi will take us in the right direction. Because he knows what is Dharma. And Prithu Maharaj is the best amongst all the Raj Rishis. If one has to give an example who is the king, you have to read about Prithu Maharaj. So that Prithu Maharaj also did some austerities. So austerities is very important. Some people argue that devotees need not do austerity. No, devotees also need to do austerity. What is the meaning of a devotee? A person who has dedicated or devoted his mind, body and words for the service of Krishna. So that is the highest austerity. You live for Krishna, you die for Krishna. But even such devotees, just to remain cautious, they practice austerities. This reminds me of a very nice pastime mentioned in the Padma Puran. It is all happening by the will of the Lord. But Narad Muni goes to the Vaikuntha and he sees Lord is nicely residing on the Ananta Shesha and Mother Lakshmi is massaging his lotus feet. And all the different potencies, different energies, they are sort of surrounding him. Lord does not lead a private life, by the way. Lord leads a public life. Even when he has bath, Abhishekam, 10,000 people come to see him. So Krishna consciousness, we get a hint here. If you want to lead an austere life, lead a public life. If you lead a private life, there cannot be any austerity there. One cannot chant their rounds there, one cannot follow the four regulative principles there. So Narad Muni came and told, my dear Lord, the whole world is going crazy. They have made sense gratification as their aim of life. We need someone to show them the value of austerities, the need of austerities. Until unless you engage in tapasya, how you will control your intelligence? How will you control your jnanendriyas and karmendriyas? There are 5 prana vayus in the body. They are controlled by intelligence. They affect the mind also. There are 5 working senses. They also need to be controlled. So a devotee of Krishna feeds only their spiritual intelligence. They do not feed the material intelligence. And they give up sense gratification as much as possible. then it is possible to practice austerity. And this austerity should be done for the pleasure of Krishna. It is very necessary. Austerities, sacrifices and charity. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that these three activities should never be stopped. Austerity, charity and sacrifices. Because they purify even the pure souls. So therefore Narad Muni went and told that, my dear Lord, the world needs an example. You need to do some tapasya. You are nicely sleeping on this Ananta Shesha and Mother Lakshmi is massaging her lotus feet and Vaikuntha's unimaginable opulence. How will the world do austerity? This, of course, this is the will of the Lord. He is inspiring Narad Muni to speak like that. So the Lord asked Narad Muni, what do you want me to do, Narada? So Narad Muni said, my dear Lord, go to the material world and do some austerity. So he said, I want to do, but you see, it's not possible for me to do austerity. Wherever I go, all these energies and opulences, Parash Shaktir, Vivadhaiva Shruyate, Swabhaviki, Jnana Balam Kriyacha, everything comes there and the whole mahal becomes so much full of Vaibhav. And this Lakshmi, she never leaves me only. Wherever I go, she will arrange so many comforts which I don't want, but I have to take it for her pleasure. So my dear Lord, I know a place where Lakshmi cannot come. It's high up in the mountains. It's called as Badrikashram. You please go there. So then the Lord advented himself as Nara Narayana Rishi. And then he sat on Badrikashram and executed severe austerity. Is there any need for the Lord to execute austerities? But just to teach everyone the value of austerities in spiritual life, he did it. But then as he was sitting, he saw some flowers were falling on his body. And then he looked up, he saw a Badri tree. That was Mother Lakshmi. Mother Lakshmi came in the form of a Badri tree. That's why that place is called Badrikashram. That's why this personality is called Badrinath. And she was protecting the Lord from heat, from rain, from snow, etc. That is her affection. So everybody has done austerity. Nobody has, you see how much austerity Srila Prabhupada did. How much austerity Bhaktivinoda Thakur did. The 6 Goswamis. They were the most spiritually advanced people. But they used to sleep under one tree and then next day under another tree. Quite an adventurous life. So I have just highlighted some verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which talks about Maharaj Prithu's austerity. I have managed to, but you give me that. Please keep it here. It went away? Lie. I have got my tool. So my HDMI port is not working. So I have purchased this. Hopefully it will work now. Let's see. Is it working? Huh? Working? Sorry for the interruption, but this is necessary to display. वायरलेस ही करेंगे. ये कनेक्ट नहीं हो रहा? नहीं हो रहा? कल तक तो हो रहा था. अभी? वायर्ड किए हैं अभी? वायरलेस. ओके. ठीक है. I'll disconnect this. Connect to a wireless display. Connect. Aitu? Okay, so please read this 4:23:4. Austerity is done by the Shaktyavesh avatar of Bhagwan Shri Krishna, Prithu Maharaj. Can someone read this? Okay, I'll read the translation, someone will read the purport. Okay? You can see? Or should I increase the text size? Huh? After retiring from family life, Maharaj Prithu strictly followed the regulations of retired life and underwent severe austerities in the forest. He engaged in these activities seriously as he had formerly engaged in leading the government and conquering everyone. So there are different roles in the life of a devotee. And one needs to be enthusiastic in each role, but should not be attached to each role. One should be attached to service attitude and not the service. So Prithu Maharaj was very enthusiastic when it came to ruling the government, very, very individual, spontaneous and voluntary. As a Raj Rishi, protecting the benefits and the interests of the public. However, when the right time came, he was also very enthusiastic to give up the life of a king and go to the forest. This reminds me of our enthusiasm. We are very, for example, today is a very special day. We have also announced it. It's a very special feast. So somehow, by the mercy of Krishna, there is a huge attendance today. I hope all of you have come to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are very enthusiastic in feasting. But we are not very enthusiastic in fasting. Correct, no? When feasting comes, almost 99% people will overeat. But when it comes to fasting, so many excuses are given. Kuttu ke aata ka puri, this salad, this sabzi, that sabzi, this sweet, that sweet. In fact, Ekadashi is no longer fasting, but it has become feasting only. See, it is always fair to assess our own enthusiasm. If we are very enthusiastic to feast, we should show, just like Prithu Maharaj, we should show same enthusiasm in fasting also. But that is missing. If we are very eager to overeat, which is not at all suitable for spiritual life, then at least on Ekadashis, we should completely give up food. I mean, let's be fair and honest, at least to ourselves. Honesty is the best policy after all. You know what? In the Madhva Sampradaya, on Ekadashis, there is no cooking. We are going to Udupi very soon, in the month of June. If we would have gone on one of the Ekadashis day, in the whole of Udupi, there is no food available, no prasadam available. They are very clear. You want to, if you die, good. Die fasting, but die. But fast. It's very clear. The power of austerity is very much highlighted there, because austerity attracts higher powers. And devotees do austerities for getting the mercy of Krishna. It is very clear. Now you read the purport. Somebody can start reading.
As it is necessary for one to become very active in family life, similarly, after retirement from family life, it is necessary to control the mind.
Can we give him a mic? Is it possible? Continue.
This is possible when one engages himself fully in the devotional service of the Lord.
Just let the mic come, yeah.
Actually, the whole purpose of the Vedic system, the Vedic social order, is to enable one to ultimately return home back to Godhead. The Grihastha ashram is a sort of concession combining sense gratification with a regulative life. It is to enable one to easily retire in the middle of life and engage fully in austerities in order to transcend material sense gratification once and for all. Therefore, in the Vanaprastha stage of life, tapasya or austerity is strongly recommended. Maharaj Prithu followed exactly all the rules of Vanaprastha life, which is technically known as Vaikhanasha Ashrama. Vaikhanasha Ashrama. The word Vaikhanasha
Sorry, I don't know why this is happening. Yeah. Chalo, continue.
It's not visible. The word Vaikhanasha Susammate is significant because in Vanaprastha life, the regulative principles are also to be strictly followed. In other words, Maharaj Prithu was an ideal character in every sphere of life. Mahajano yena gataha sapanthaha. One should follow in the footsteps of great personalities. Thus, by following the exemplary character of Maharaj Prithu, one can become perfect in all aspects while living this life or while retiring from active life. Thus, after giving up this body, one can become liberated and go back to Godhead.
So how many of you want to become perfect in all respects of life? And that has a heavy price. You have to give up your home at a particular time. गृह त्याग करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो नहीं होगा. See, if somebody is thinking, I will die holding the hands of my grandsons, looking at the face of my son, daughter, wife, passing stool and urine in the bed, in my house in Vishakhapatnam, begging to the doctor, give me 3-6 months more. That is not Vedic life. Sometimes people don't take me in the right mood when I say that the Grihast ashram is a place where Krishna consciousness is given central priority. And Grihast ashram is a 25-year contract. Just like a thief, when he has to enter a house, what is the first thing which he will see? Where is the exit? Similarly, a sincere practitioner of Krishna consciousness, especially for those who are sitting here and who are not married, before entering, first of all, you should think whether you want to enter or not. 75% of the Varnashram culture, that is Brahmachari, Vanaprastha and Sannyas, 75% they are outside Grihastha ashram. And they have got nothing to do with sex life. That is celibacy. And those who are not able to handle the urges as a concession, just like Prabhupada writes, ठीक है, ले लो, ठीक, ले लो. As a concession, होता है ना, बच्चा रोते रहता है, comes to mother gives one toffee, ठीक है, ले लो बाबा. So those who are not able to handle the urges, they are allowed to enter the Grihastha ashram with a contract. What is the contract? That after 25 years, you should exit Baba. Grihastha ashram doesn't mean that holding the hands of my son, daughter, grandson, granddaughter, looking at the not so beautiful old face of my wife, old ho gaye, and grandsons, granddaughters and everybody in my house in Vishakhapatnam, passing stool and urine in the bed, begging to the doctor, 6 months more. That is not Vedic culture. That is abominable. That is abominable. That is why even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, although he wrote various poems and various bhajans, teaching how to practice Krishna consciousness, but even he, in order to set the right example towards the end of his life, left home. It is essential. It is essential. You tell me one character in Srimad Bhagavatam who did not leave home. कोई है ही नहीं वैसा. So घर को छोड़ना बहुत जरूरी है. Home sweet home. Even if you make it a temple, still it has to be given up one day. So then only the path back to Godhead becomes clear. So that is the exemplary character of Maharaj Prithu. And if you want to become perfect in every aspect of life, one has to show enthusiasm in family life, in leading it in a Krishna conscious way. But one has to show enthusiasm giving up family life also. Otherwise you are not chaste to Bhagavatam. You are following Maharaj Prithu. You want to become successful in all respect and all aspects of life. See, everything, every situation, every position has some privilege and some austerity. If I accept only the privilege and if I do not engage in the austerities, then it is sense gratification. And sense gratification and Krishna consciousness go ill together. Now let's go to the next verse and see what Maharaj Prithu did. I will read the translation. In Tapovana, Maharaj Prithu sometimes ate trunks and roots of trees. Sometimes he ate fruits and dried leaves. And for some weeks he drank only water. Finally, he lived by simply by breathing air. So in Kali Yuga, all this is not possible. Don't attempt. Don't try to imitate Maharaj Prithu. He lasted for years. You will last for 8 hours only. So read this section. 1 second. Read from here. In this way. Somebody can read? In this way. Who has the mic? Maybe one of the Matajis can read.
In this way, he lived.
Mic leke. Yeah. One mic can be with Prabhuji's, one can be. Yes. In this way.
In this way, he lived in the forest and underwent severe austerity, especially in regards to eating. In other words, overeating is not at all recommended for one who wants to progress in spiritual
Please
life.
note down. Overeating. I mean, it is very ironical. Aaj itna bada feast hai, and publishing the menu, we have invited everybody. But this is the principle. Overeating is not at all recommended for one who wants to progress in spiritual life. Prabhupada said not, he didn't say not recommended or not needed. He said not at all recommended. That means there is no scope. Continue.
Sri Rupa Goswami also warns that too much eating or too much endeavor, atyahara prayasa
Okay.
are against the principles by which one can advance in spiritual life.
Yes. Atyahara means overeating and over collection of money, both. According to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And prayas means over endeavoring to achieve something which is worldly or mundane at the cost of my sadhana in Krishna consciousness. So atyahara prayasascha. What happens when we do this? Let me go to Nectar of Instruction. It's a very nice verse. This is the second verse only. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyamcha shadbhir bhakti vinashyati. Please see the word. When we engage in this atyahara, what happens? Our bhakti vinashyati means destroyed. It is not reduced or it is not delayed or something. So what are the 6 activities? Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, over endeavoring for mundane things that are difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about worldly subject matters, mundane subject matters, practicing scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness and being greedy for mundane achievements. What will happen? Vinashyati is completely destroyed. Continue reading this purport. Yeah.
It is also notable that according to the Vedic injunction, to live in the forest is to live in the mode of complete goodness, whereas to live in the city is to live in the mode of passion, and to live in a brothel or drinking house is to live in the mode of ignorance. However, to live in a temple is to live in Vaikuntha, which is transcendental to all modes of material nature. This Krishna consciousness movement affords one the opportunity to live in the temple of the Lord, which is as good as Vaikuntha.
So during Prabhupada's time, he used to invite everybody, aa jao, saath mein rahenge. The concept of congregation was not there. Present day meaning of congregation in ISKCON is, I will stay at home and once a week on the Sunday feast I will come and I will do some services and then I will go home. This is the definition of congregation. But this was not present during the times of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, the meaning of congregation was one who stays in temple but is married. It was very austere life they were leading. That is why Srila Prabhupada used to say, there is no difference between my sannyasis and my grihasthas. However, that statement may not be fully valid now, because there is a huge difference now. So, Of course, now even temples cannot afford. We cannot invite you, all of you, please come from tomorrow. We'll put up 10 mats here and you can sleep here. Prabhujis can sleep in Brahmachari ashram, Matajis can sleep in Mataji ashram. And if anybody wants to produce a child, take permission from the spiritual master, chant 50 rounds, no secret, everybody will pray for you, engage in union, Krishna conscious union, produce a child. Otherwise, Dinbhar Prabhuji is in Brahmachari ashram, Mataji is in the Mataji ashram, and then lead your life peacefully. In fact, there is a biography where Srila Prabhupada had made arrangement for Grihasthas in his temple. It was a room with 10 beds and one curtain between each bed. That was congregation at that time. And that's the way Prabhupada used to deal with them. But these days it is not very much possible. So if it is not possible to live in temple, at least make your home a temple. And a temple is a very clean place. What destroys cleanliness, we should be very much aware of. We have to maintain highest standard of cleanliness at home. That means having regular bath, regularly reciting the Vedic literature, regularly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, refraining from illicit sex life, regularly engaging in charity. These things will keep the house clean. So please and putting Krishna in the center of the house and not a TV. In most of the houses, in the most nice place, a TV is put up. So we should put Krishna in the center. Continue reading.
Consequently, a Krishna conscious person does not need to go to the forest and artificially try to imitate Maharaj Prithu or the great sages and munis who used to live in the forest.
Yes.
Srila Rupa Goswami, after retiring from his minister's seat in the government, went to Vrindavan and lived beneath a tree like Maharaj Prithu. Since then, many people have gone to Vrindavan to imitate Rupa Goswami's behavior. Instead of advancing in spiritual life, many have fallen into material habits and even in Vrindavan have become victims of illicit sex, gambling and intoxication.
Okay, so how many of you want a mantra by which you can remain safe from illicit sex, gambling, intoxication and the other vices in the society? How many of you want a mantra like that? So today, I hope in this purport you will get that mantra. Yeah, it is there. Continue.
The Krishna conscious movement has been introduced in the Western countries, but it is not possible for Westerners to go to the forest and practice severe austerities, which were ideally practiced by Prabhu Maharaj or Rupa Goswami. However, Westerners or anyone else can follow in the footsteps of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur by living in a temple, which is transcendental to residence in a forest, and to vow to accept Krishna Prasad and nothing else.
So these are the sutras or the mantras. Some people, they are very casual about what they intake. There are 5 places from where you take food. You must be confused. So one place from where you take food is the eyes. And the food is the form, what you see. Garbage in, garbage out. Human eyes are meant to see Krishna and not nasty forms, which are there on the billboards, posters, movies, cinemas, theaters, everywhere. Human eye is meant to see Krishna. Krishna avalokan vina phal nahi aan, jai jana Krishna dekhe sei bhagyavan. The purpose of the eyes is to see the deity form of Krishna. Nayana haribo sada yugala rupa rasi. In the Tulsi Aarti we sing that I only want to see the beautiful divine couple Radha and Krishna, and apart from that I don't want to see any other thing. So that is the food which we take in through the eyes. There is food which we take in from our ears. What food we take in? Gossip. If the food which we take in, buy this flat, you will become happy. Buy this undergarment, you will become happy. Underfit to bahar bhi, something like that. Buy this life insurance and you will become happy. But we do not take Krishna Katha. There is huge reluctance to take Krishna Katha. Whatever is possible, I will avoid. Some people, they come only during prasadam time only. And it's there in every center. It's an open secret. But today I am very proud that all of you have come to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. It is better to take people, those who are interested, rather than trying to make people interested. That is a simple mantra of preaching. The Indian Navy has a sutra, few good men, that's all. So therefore, in order to advance this Krishna consciousness movement, we need few serious people. We should not focus on numbers, focus on quality. Spend time, all the Bhakti Vriksha leaders sitting here, input. Spend 1 year, cultivate 2 sincere people, that is enough. They will become your hands and legs and they will take the things further. Always remember, people who like to be chased, people who need constant reminders, people who need constant follow-up and constant calls, they will never become serious. Chased people do not become serious. So spend time with those who are little philosophically inclined. Spend time, is the inverter on? It was on inverter till now. So chased people will find it very difficult to become serious in life. I have a lot of experience with these chased people. So much reminders, so much follow-up, but even after 5 years of taking a lot of prasadam till here, struggling with 1 round only. Eternal 1-rounders. Maybe in next life they'll come on 2 rounds. Not clear. Again, I'll have to go in the connection mode. So it is better to spend time with those who are serious. Then you may ask that if that is the way, if that is the case, you are telling Prabhu, how come on Sunday this happens every time? I think it is switched off. So, please listen. Leave it. All these are distractions. Please focus on Srimad Bhagavatam. We are supposed to sit under a tree and discuss. This is quite comfortable place. If needed, we can do some ventilation through the windows. Open the windows. So, can the door be closed? Yes. So I was saying, what I was saying? Yeah. You are saying, somebody may challenge me that, Prabhu, you are saying that one should do austerities, one should be enthusiastic in fasting and not in feasting, and people should be philosophically inclined, they should not be chased, they should have taste in Srimad Bhagavatam. But Srila Prabhupada started the movement by feasting. He used to feast people till here. Then why did Prabhupada write that overeating is not at all recommended for spiritual progress? Just think. This clearly means that, see, the people in the world, they are mad behind sense gratification. In order to distract them from passionate and ignorant sense gratification, we are trying to engage them in a positive sense gratification so that they can give up that sense, other kind of sense gratification. Have sense gratification in prasadam. That is the only sense gratification you can have. But until how long? 1 year? 2 years? 3 years? Not for your entire life. I have seen many devotees who are very enthusiastic. I'm talking especially about the youth and also every age. Everybody likes prasadam. It's not like only youth likes. So some devotees, they are very enthusiastic in taking prasadam, but they do not want to do devotional austerities. Devotional austerity means coming for Mangalarti. Devotional austerity means going out for book distribution. Devotional austerity means engaging in preaching. Devotional austerity means cultivating people. So some people do not do devotional austerity, but they feel they have a right over the prasadam. Hamara adhikar hai, fundamental rights, no duties, only rights. That is wrong. Your claim on prasadam is valid as long as you engage in devotional austerities. If there is hesitation in engaging in a desire to engage in devotional austerities, be fair to yourself. Cut down your eating. Simple.
It will help in everything. Life.
So, 4 sutras Prabhupada gives in this purport, which will help one not be disturbed in this Kali Yuga. It has been seen that many devotees, although superficially engaged in Krishna consciousness, they are not able to control their mind and senses because they do not follow these 4 principles very strictly. Dikh raha hai kya TV mein? So that 4 principles Srila Prabhupada is telling, you must have heard all this, but if you will carefully take note today, life will become very simple. And why we are discussing all this? Because today's Bhagavatam verse talks about austerity. Alright? Please read. However, Westerners.
However, Westerners or anyone else can follow in the footsteps of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur by living in a temple which is transcendental to residence in a forest, and to vow to accept Krishna Prasad and nothing else. Follow the regulative principles and chant 16 rounds daily of the Hare Krishna mantra. In this way, one's spiritual life will never be disturbed.
4 principles. How many of you want your spiritual life to be never disturbed? Please raise your hand. Never ever. Unfailing in all circumstances. Infallible. Acyuta. These are the 4 principles. Number 1. Live in a temple. It's probably not possible. Then make your house a temple. Please do that. Otherwise it is not possible to practice Krishna consciousness. Second, take a vow of eating only Krishna Prasad. Many devotees are very casual about this. Taking food from a restaurant where onion and garlic is not put, but the food which has not been made by devotees who don't chant 16 rounds is not prasadam. Eating Jain meal will give you detachment but not attachment to Krishna. So we have to be very, very clear what garbage in, garbage out. Prasadam has only one definition: food which is made by people who chant 16 rounds, and in a mood of devotion it is offered to Krishna. There is no other definition of prasadam. Simply by putting tulsi leaf or a Jagannath rice in a food which is free of onion garlic, that does not make it prasadam. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, Srila Prabhupada writes that a person who is not strictly eating prasadam can never attain the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Even a serious devotee, if he eats food offered by a materialistic man, he will lose his Krishna consciousness. Even a serious devotee. So as serious as that. So this is the main reason why Krishna consciousness is disturbed. The vows are disturbed. The regulative principles are disturbed. Number 1, the environment which we stay is surcharged with passion and ignorance. At least bring it to the mode of goodness, if not transcendental. Second, eat only Krishna Prasad. And third, strictly follow the regulative principles. If one is not determined in their war against Maya, even the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot help them. You have to become strict. The first duty in spiritual life is to control the mind and senses. If you cannot do this, be ready to suffer. In fact, controlling mind and senses, they are not restrictions, they are regulative principles of freedom. You will become free. Look how free the Goswamis were. They used to sleep under one tree and another tree next day. Itna freedom kiske paas hai? Even the birds which stay on that tree will get attached to that tree. That is why you see so many bird droppings near a tree. That means the same birds are staying on the same tree for a huge duration. तभी तो वहाँ पूरा droppings का निशान आया है. Even the birds get attached to a tree. But in a human form of life, how to practice these regulative principles of freedom? The first step is to have a conducive environment. If possible, stay in a temple. If not, make your home a temple. Or at least find some excuse to come to the temple and spend more time in the temple. Second, eat only Krishna Prasadam. Krishna Prasadam means Krishna Prasadam. And third, strictly follow the 4 regulative principles. Strictly. Lord Chaitanya is merciful, but he is not a fool. Krishna is merciful, but he is not a fool. Krishna is Jitendriya. He was surrounded by billions of gopis who are more beautiful than Lakshmi, who are souls surrendered to him, ready to do whatever he wants, but still he did not engage in sexual union with anybody. Do we hear that any gopi did some abortion or any gopi took some contraceptives? We never hear such things. The most beautiful personality in the whole world, surrounded by the most loving and fortunate people of the whole creation, the gopis, 3 billion at the same time. Young boy, surrounded by young girls, but Jitendriya. It is possible to practice celibacy or brahmacharya when you keep yourself away from when you keep yourself in a regulative zone, just like Lord Chaitanya did. But look at Krishna. He is surrounded by billions of gopis who are more beautiful than Lakshmi, but still Jitendriya. That is what is needed. Of course, we cannot become like Krishna. Only God can be Jitendriya. That is why Srila Prabhupada says in the 4th canto that a person who behaves like a liberated soul in the association of the opposite gender is a great fool. This is valid for both Prabhujis and Matajis. If you act like a great soul, Mahatma, a liberated personality, you can do whatever you want in the association of Matajis. If you take too much leverage or privilege, that I can do anything I want, I am a Mataji, you are a great fool. So therefore, following regulative principles is your personal responsibility. And these things will help. Having a conducive environment and only eating Krishna Prasadam will help you. Please remember, when you follow the 4 regulative principles and intensely chant 16 rounds every day. Chanting 16 rounds mean disconnecting yourself with everything else in the world and chanting. When I chant, I just chant. If you chant every day and if you follow the 4 regulative principles and if you only eat Krishna Prasad and if you maintain sattvic association in house and spend time in temple, there is no power in this world which can stop you from attaining Krishna. The only power which can stop you from attaining Krishna is yourself, your mind. Then spiritual life will be disturbed. And see the kind of austerity he was doing. What is the need for a Shakti-Avesh avatar to do all this? Following the principles, is it visible? Following the principles of forest living and the footsteps of great sages and munis, Prithu Maharaj accepted 5 kinds of heating process during the summer. What is the 5 kinds of heating process? Putting fire on 4 sides and sitting under great sun. That is 5 kinds of heating process. Exposed himself to torrents of rain in the rainy season and in winter, stood up in water up to neck. He also used to simply lie down on the floor to sleep. We are not asking you, these are austerities. We are not asking you to do anything. We're just telling you, intensely chant 16 rounds. Eat only Krishna prasadam. Stay in a temple or a temple environment and strictly follow four elements. Is it too much to ask? Otherwise, you will be forced to do these kind of austerities later on. Last verse to highlight austerities. Maharaj Prithu, why to do these austerities? Maharaj Prithu underwent all these austerities in order to control his words and his senses, to refrain from discharging his semen and control the life air within his body. And this he did for the satisfaction of Krishna. He had no other purpose. So this is the reason why we have to do tapasya, for the pleasure of Krishna. Now again one may argue, there is no devotees ko karne ka zarurat nahi hai. But first become a devotee. What is the definition of a devotee? Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadya anavritam anukulyena Krishna anushilanam bhaktiruttama. One should have no other desire other than to serve Krishna. That is a devotee. Anya abhilashita shunyam. Should be free from the pursuits or the results of knowledge and fruitive activities. Jnana and karma. Adi means astrology, Ayurveda, wo sab kuch nahi. Anukulyena. One should have a desire to please Krishna, and one should do activities which are favorable towards Krishna consciousness. Anukulyena. Anushilanam. One should be following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Then you become a devotee. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitite Koriya Aikya Ar na kariho mane asha. Other than the instructions of Guru, I should have no other desire. And in Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada writes, Nectar of Devotion rather, that any other desire other than to serve and please Krishna is a material desire. So a devotee has no material desires. So if you are saying austerities are not needed for a devotee, correct. 100% correct. No need. But first become a devotee. And if you find yourself at a platform that you are not having a devotional fervor, devotional attitude, better get into these austerities. Better practice celibacy, better practice some austerities, because without giving up sex life, no one can go back home back to Godhead. Without doing tapasya, no one can go back home back to Godhead. Tapasya is very, very important. This tapasya helps us to realize we are not the body, we are not the mind, we are not the intelligence, we are the spirit soul. This realization comes through tapasya. Provided it is done for the pleasure of Krishna. Otherwise, if you do tapasya, then you may become Hiranyakashipu also. He also did a lot of tapasya. But what was the point? Kuch nahi, zero. So, aradhanam yadi harim tapasat tatha kim, na aradhanam yadi hari tapasat tatha kim. If you are a devotee of Krishna, there is no need of tapasya. Correct. But if you are not a devotee of Krishna, what is the purpose of your tapasya? It is useless. Like Hiranyakashipu, it will be useless. But tapasya is needed. And so the tapasya which Srila Prabhupada has incorporated in our lives is the morning program. Sincerely attend the morning program. Morning program means time before 6 a.m. I have some friends here and other places also. They are like, Prabhu, when we come on the yatras, we see sunrise and sunset. Otherwise, our lives are so busy, we never see the sunset. And because we retire so late, so we never see the sunrise. Only when we come on yatras and you appoint people to come and knock on our doors, we don't hate them, we love them. But that is the only time we see the sunrise and sunset. Oh, we have seen the sun. If this is the situation, how we can think of going back to God, you tell me? Therefore, in a joking way, I often say, one who has not seen the Brahma Muhurta will never see Parabrahma Bhagavan Shri Krishna. It's very, very important. So the only austerities which we are requesting is, number 1, chant 16 rounds by disconnecting yourself from the entire world. Number 2, eat only Krishna Prasad. The definition of Krishna Prasad is a person who is following 4 regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds, and has cooked with a desire to please Krishna and offered to Krishna. A Jain meal with tulsi leaf is not Krishna Prasad. It will give you detachment, but not attachment to Krishna. Third, stay in a temple or create a temple-like environment at home or find some excuses to spend more time in the temple. And fourth, strictly follow the four regulative principles, because Lord Krishna is merciful, but he is not a fool. So these are the only austerities which we are requesting. If you do these austerities, in our childhood, our parents would have told us, "Beta, abhi mehnat kar le, baad mein zindagi aasan ho jayegi." It is valid. You do these austerities now, life later on will become full of bhava and prema. But if you do not engage in austerities now, punarapi janamam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. You will have to enter the abominable residence of the womb of another mother of some other species, or maybe human species. But it is a very abominable place to go. Third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So with this, I would like to rest my forceful presentation today. And I would like to request all of you. See, I have not told my opinions. It is the opinions of the Acharya. A person who is not chaste to the instructions of the Acharya can never please the Acharya. And one who has not pleased the Acharya can never please Krishna. Yasya prasada bhagavad prasada. Many people claim that we are followers of Srila Prabhupada. I would appreciate if people become follower of the books of Srila Prabhupada. Because Srila Prabhupada said, "My books are better than me." Sometimes in letters, in conversations, whatever Srila Prabhupada has said, that is circumstantial, and many times it is meant for encouraging the person. But in the books, he has maintained complete standards. It is good to become a follower of Srila Prabhupada, but it is better to become a follower of the books of Srila Prabhupada. Then your spiritual life will be never disturbed. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's 12:05.